Rodrigo, let me come to you on that last point that David Nima just raised, and that is corruption. Bolsonaro took office promising to stamp out corruption, but as we just heard, one of his sons was implicated in a corruption scandal. Bolsonaro, in fact, tried to bury that. Another one of his sons, he tried to appoint as the ambassador to the United States. What happened to the anti-corruption drive?
Well, it's not the same as it used to be before, but there's no huge scandal in the government in the first year. That's important, very important to mention. And there's a difference now from what was going on before. The government, the relation of the executive power and Congress is a different one. There's no monthly payment to buy support, for example. So it's a very different issue. The scandal regarding the president's son is before the election. It's something that bothers a lot of his supporters.
Yeah.
But the minister Sergio Moro is still there, and he's a very important symbol in terms of fighting corruption in the government.
Rodrigo, so what about the point that David raised about one of the sons diverting tax money to pay off militias?
Yeah, exactly. That was before the election. I think there are some signs that the government, the president himself, is trying to get away from this anti-corruption fight because of that. So he put some people in power in some strategic positions. Yeah. There are not exactly a very anti-corruption message.
Yeah.
So people are worried about it, but there's no huge scandal in the government.
Okay,
so
let me let me get a very quick. Let me give Rodrigo a chance here to respond to what you've just said. Rodrigo, we just heard
about what's scandalous.
Yeah, we just heard about what's going on in the Ministry of Education as well as the President's Secretary for Communication.
It's just absurd. It's not a very Republican thing to do, but there's nothing illegal there. There's no crime committed. There's no punishment. If you compare that to Petrolão, the scandal of corruption in Petrobras, it's just absurd. It makes no sense at all. So I think it's only an ideological stance.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense at all.
To Rodrigo. Rodrigo, the China trade deal and its impact on Brazil.
Okay, there is some impact, of course. If China is going to be buying more from U.S., it means less from Brazil, maybe $10 billion, I don't know. But it's good for the world.
Okay.
We don't want a trade war. A trade war would be bad for everyone involved. So I think it's still better for Brazil that China is getting along finally with U.S. It's good news.
Right. Gilson, what is your view on that? Rodrigo, of course, the president has found a very effective way to communicate with his supporters, but let's look at his approval rating. It's pretty low. It's 30%. It had a high at one stage, just a few months ago, of 49%. And now we say 30% of Brazilians are rating his administration as good or great. Some analysts are saying that he's alienated his moderate supporters. We just heard David tell us about one of the bizarre statements he made about Leonardo DiCaprio being responsible for the Amazon forest fires. Does he need to control that rhetoric to attract more support?
I think he should. The moderates are getting far away from him because of all that. But the economy is doing fine. It's going to grow like 2.5%, the GDP this year. With the reforms, the pension fund reform was the star last year. So he's going to count on that, just as Trump here in the United States. And he's going to count on the polarization as well. Because if it's him again against Lula in the Labour Party, that's all he wants. Because the moderates will have to go with him again without an alternative.
Yeah, and
so
Rodrigo, in fact, Lula at a rally he addressed, and this was a few months ago in November, said he's going to make life hell for Bolsonaro.
Yeah, that's his option as well. He needs Bolsonaro, and Bolsonaro needs him alive as a political player, because they both want that tribalism, the polarization that's going on right now in the country. So they don't want any moderate center to right or center to left option. That would be bad for both of them. So Bolsonaro knows that, and he needs to keep the base very agitated and fighting for him. That's why this rhetoric he uses.
Rodrigo, I've got 20 seconds. I'd like your response to that very quickly, please.
It doesn't make sense at all. The hate speech comes from the left as well. Bolsonaro is not a new Hitler or something like this, not even Trump. They don't come close to that.
Yeah.
The economy is doing fine. They're probably going to be re-elected,
Okay.
and that's not bad.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there.